Hey guys, OzMyPokemon here, and today I'm going to be showing you some RU Wi-Fi battles I had on Showdown. Honestly, a lot of fun playing RU recently. This team isn't the best. I'm going to make some adjustments to it, and then I might see if I can get some battles on the actual game. If you guys want to have a battle with me, make sure to hit me up on Twitter. I cannot find battles. It's really hard. I'm not sure why, but there's just no one playing anymore, I guess. So if you guys want to have a battle, then make sure to hit me up. So yeah, let's just get right into it. Okay, so he's going to lead with his Machamp, and I'm going to lead with my Decidium-Z. So I go for the Sword Stance, obviously, because I don't think there's much he can do. Knockoff, he finds out that I have a Z move, and I'm actually just going to go for it straight up, because I think it's the only way I might be able to take out that Machamp. And I didn't want to go for the Sucker Punch here, because I knew he'd go for some kind of status move, probably Sticky Web. But out comes Machamp, and he outspeeds me, so I wasn't really paying attention at the time, but I don't know how he outsped me there. I guess Machamp's faster than Decidueye, but I go for the Hurricane. And this video, I believe, was just, I'm going to show you guys how I swept this guy's entire team. It was like mono fighting, except for Galvantula. I just swept his entire team with Moltres. Moltres is a really big threat in RU. Oh, not to mention I hit all those Hurricanes in a row, so that's pretty good. But yeah, Moltres, this is a Specs Moltres. It is a really big threat in the RU tier. I'm going to be experimenting with a Flying Z Moltres. But anyway, moving on to the next battle. He leads with Poliswine, and this Galvantula actually has Toxic to deal with bulky leads, so I can cripple them straight away. But obviously, I thought he'd go for Stealth Rock, so I thought I'd be safe, but no, he went straight up for the attacking move. So now I send him Moltres, and I'm just going to miss the kill because of the thick fat, but he goes for the Stealth Rock, so that's fine, so my Moltres isn't going to be taking that much damage. But he brings out Feraligatr now, and I go into Blastoise, and Liquidation does barely anything, so now I can go for the Rapid Spin, get those rocks away, which is really good for me because, you know, Moltres takes 50% every time it switches into rocks, so that's not good. He goes for Toxic here. I didn't expect that, but still, it's not that bad because my Moltres really doesn't stay in for that long, I don't believe. But I actually get the Confusion on the Rotom. That's very lucky for me as I hit another Hurricane, and he hits himself in Confusion. I don't want to have to take much more toxic damage, so I switch into Porygon 2. Traces Levitate, that doesn't really matter. He snaps out a Confusion and Volt switches out of there, but now pretty much Rotom, he can't really do anything anymore. Switch back into my Moltres because I'm pretty sure he's going to go for the Toxic, and I can switch into that because I'm already Toxic myself. So he switches in Rotom to just be as Death Border, and obviously he's not going to survive that. And Feraligatr comes out again, and I miss the Hurricane, and that really sucks, but he misses the Rock side, so it's all good. I can go for the other Hurricane. It's obviously going to take him out because Specs Moltres is a threat. Anyway, here I'm expecting the Draining Kiss, so I just switch out because I thought, why not? I have a Bronzong that's barely going to be affected by this, and at this point, this was just a Light Clay Bronzong. I ended up changing it up later in the last battle, I believe, but here, there's just a massive stall between me and Delmize, Rapid Spin, Stealth Rock, and I have Rest on this set, so I think I sped this up 3 times, and it just went on forever. Eventually my Reflect ran out, and he was able to take me out at the end, as you'll see, but it just goes on forever, so I decided to speed it up. I think I wasn't paying attention, but I think it's around 15 turns this was, so yeah, he ends up taking me out, and I can switch in Moltres here, and lucky I let Moltres survive before, because I go for the Fire Blast, and it takes out the Comfy, so luckily I didn't sack my Moltres. But now I bring in Blastoise as he brings in Delmize. I don't really care at this point because I can just let Blastoise die as Decidueye comes in and just destroys the rest of his team. I go for the Spirit Shackle, obviously going to take him out because he's at low health. And Espeon, the funniest thing here, he tries to trick me, but I have the Decidium-Z, so Sinister Arrow Raid is going to take him out. Now, what I found using Decidueye, he isn't actually that good, but we'll talk about that at the end. So I lead with Bronzong, and unfortunately, he leads with Moltres, probably predicting that. So I switch into Porygon 2, my special wall. Flamethrower, as you can see, does like about nothing. So I switch back in my Moltres, expecting a switch into Doublade, but he doesn't. He just goes for the Toxics. This ended up being like a support Moltres, not really sure why. I go for the Hurricane, does around 68%. To the Lycanroc, so that's very good. It's not going to be threatening me anymore. He goes for the Stone Age, does 14% on my Bronzong. It's a physical wall Bronzong. And here, I'm going to go for the Stealth Rock because I knew he'd switch. And here, he goes for the Toxic. I don't know why he did that. Maybe he thought I was going to switch to Blastoise or Decidueye or Porygon. But he switches in Moltres here. And as you can see, this Moltres is carrying Defog and Roost. So, Toxic, Defog, Roost, and Flamethrower, I think we saw. So, it is kind of a supporting Moltres. Not really that good because he takes 50% from Stealth Rock, but I guess in this battle it kind of worked. I missed the Toxic, which really sucks. Probably would have made a fairly big impact, but I switch into Moltres now because I just knew I didn't want to have to deal. I knew he was going to switch in something that was going to counter my Porygon, so I switch in Moltres, and I end up having a stall battle with this Cresselia, and I knew I was going to end up losing, but I know that I can trap this Cresselia in, and well, if he switches, something's going to have to take massive damage, and if he stays in, well, he's going to get a lot of damage from Toxic. So I'm going to lose the stall battle, but in the end, his Cresselia is going to be very low health. Oh, it's going to be forced to switch out on whatever I bring in because it'll die to Toxic. Hopefully you guys understand what I'm saying there, but my Moltres does go down, so I get a free switch into Decidueye here. I really should have gone for the Swords Dance. I might have been able to take him out with Sucker Punch, but I went for the Spirit Shackle. I'm not sure why. I really should have gone for Sucker Punch. Anyway, he switches out, which reveals to me that he's Choice Specs. I didn't realize that in the middle of the battle, but I do realize it at the end. So I switch into Porygon 2, thinking there's nothing this guy can do to me, and he sets up Swords Dance, and I'm like, oh no. I really underestimated this thing, because it ends up doing a lot of damage to my team. As you see, it did a lot to Porygon, and as I switch, it does another Swords Dance. That's pretty threatening. I go for the Thunder, and luckily I get the Paralyze, so that's very good. So if he gets the fully para, I'll be able to take him out. So Decidueye comes in, he gets the fully para on the Shadow Sneak, and Spirit Shackle does take him out. So it's all good. Out comes Moltres, and at this point, I can't really take anything, so I switch into Blastoise, as he went for Defog, so that's all good. And now I can Mega, and I do a lot of damage to pretty much his whole team. He Toxics me, but it doesn't really matter, because it's late game now. Or it's becoming late game. So technically, I'm not going to be staying in with Blastoise for long. I switch into Decidueye, and this does a lot of damage because I'm actually max speed, not max HP, unfortunately. If I ever do run Decidueye again, I will definitely be running max HP because Decidueye is very slow. I go for the Gyro Ball, takes out the Roserade because Roserade has really bad defense. Out comes Swellow, and I go for the Protect because I want to be have as much HP as possible when I have to live a Heat Wave. And he switches out here, and I stayed in, so he might have been able to win the match if he stayed in there. I'm not sure why I stayed in, but I pretty much here stay in just to try get as much help as possible from my leftovers, so if I have to take a Heat Wave, maybe I'll be able to. Swellow doesn't have the best special attack in the world, but soon, I think it's in 2 turns here, he reveals to me that he's Choice Specs. But this Cresselia, unfortunately for him, is going to die because of the toxic damage and just can't take a Gyro Ball. Now, in comes the Swellow, and I Protect to see what he's going to do. He goes for the Heat Wave, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to find out if this guy is choiced or not. So I switch into Porygon 2, and he goes for the Heat Wave, and that reveals, well, not yet, but I switch into Blastoise, and I know if he switches his specs, so he's obviously specs. So I go for the Water Pulse, take out the Lycanroc, and he's trapped here. There's nothing he can really do to win, because if he goes for Heat Wave, he's not going to take out Blastoise. So I go for the Water Pulse, takes him out in one shot. Mega Blastoise is actually really strong in RU. And Decidueye, what I was saying before, it's not as good. Scarfed Shaman's definitely a lot better. And if you guys want to play RU, you could use Decidueye. He does catch a few people off guard. Pretty good against Cresselia and Bronzong, but apart from that, you're better off using a Scarfed Shaman. But yeah, if you guys did enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, hit me up on Twitter if you want to have a Wi-Fi battle. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you all in the next one.